Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. And I know what you're thinking, Joe, there is a Block Dragon in this build. Yeah, so this is a Megalith build in from Tom, who got a winner box top a weekend or two ago from before the ban list. So block was still legal for this event. Now, Megalith has some real potential even without block. Tom's been toying around with the list. I've got his updated list, which I'm going to show you towards the end of the video as well, so if you want to skip straight onto that one, go for it. In the meantime, we're going to cover the siding strategy that he deployed for this event, which should be useful for future iterations of the deck as well, because, let's be honest, Block Dragon was never coming out with the old build. You were always siding out other stuff, and now you can side out other stuff as well. And we'll also cover the rounds that he played, highlight some of the more challenging matches and how he dealt with those. So let's dive right into this. So one researcher, one Block Dragon, unfortunately banned. Now it's interesting that Megalith only ever played one Block Dragon and not three, because it generally did not contribute towards the start of combos in the hand. One Candle, triple Pencil Plume, and one Talismandra. Just in case you don't know what these guys do, for all of them you reveal a ritual monster, and then you get to special summon the card plus another one from your deck with a different name. So that you play 3 of Plume because you want to summon Plume with the effect. Candle searches for the ritual spell, which is actually really good, and then Talismandra searches for a ritual monster, and the ritual spell for this we'll get into down the line. 3 Manju, that normal summon plus being level 4 is really important because you tend to get to a granite fairly early, so you're essentially trying to get to granite to search Block Dragon accompanied by any copy of Unformed, and that's your full combo there. And then triple Gamma because there are so many spells that search here, plus 1 driver, 1 Chalice Slime. There's lots of theory going back and forth on whether you should play 1 or 3 of this, and Tom went for the 1 Chaos Max, triple Aratron, really nice this one. It allows you to ritual summon from the hand during the main phase, but it's a quick effect, so during your opponent's turn, even if you don't open much, you can still sometimes just Aratron Chaos Max them and win from there sometimes. And then 1 Bethor, it's a non-quick effect summon from hand, but most importantly it pops stuff on the field. Triple Haggith searches the Unformed, 1 Ock, triple Ophiel, triple Full, 1 Salravis to stop targeting, and it's really searchable in the deck. 3 Extra Foolish, 1 Incantation Inception. So this essentially allows you to do double ritual summons. So the first one, you just use it for a normal ritual spell. The second time around you get to send something from the field, add this back to hand, summon another one of your guys, and then you get to play it all over again, so it gives you 2 ritual summons, which is really nice. Then 3 Unformed, 3 Preparation, 3 Triple Tactics Talent, and 1 Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I think Tom was one of the first people to highlight in the Megalith Duelist Facebook group that if you open, I think it's Ophiel and Plume, you can create the full wombo combo that we've seen loads of people doing really well with, but you have the protection of a Rafflesia up before your opponent can actually drop a Nibiru on you, so that was a really nice take on it. For the extra deck, there's 1 Untus, 1 Starving Venom for the Super Polys in the side deck, 1 Savage. You use the 1 Negate and then you turn this into the big boy using the Formula Synchron for that. 2 Heralds, you do need the 2. The 1 King Calamity. If you don't know what this does, check out my combo video, which shows off the combo that all of the Megalith guys have been piloting for the recent events. Lundrity took it to the LCS finish, ending in the final there. It's just such a strong combo, and it's still possible without the Block Dragon, but it just depends on how people want to run the deck down the line. Marcher is also important for that combo, and Granite searches the Block Dragon. Rafflesia we've mentioned, access code to close up games. Also, this is a link to Earth. Interesting thing about this is it being an Earth isn't always relevant. It's sometimes relevant, and he could have gone for a Cerberus, and I spoke to him about this afterwards, and I think he's after I spoke to him about it, I think he switched it for Cerberus anyway because it just has more utility there. Occasionally it has some interactions, but Ozza is not it's not amazing compared to the value you get off some of the other Link 2s. 1 Fibrax, 1 Linkross, 1 Union Carry for when your opponent ashes or imperms your Granite. Again, it was pre-ban, so triple Call Buy was available, triple Dark Ruler, triple Droplet, triple Super Poly, double Twisters, 1 Red Reboot. What is there to say about the side deck? I mean, clearly not fearing back row decks too much. You do have the Bethel, which can generally pop 2 or 3, maybe even more. So you've got lots of ways to pop your opponent's back row. And then just some good ways to break the boards. Like all of these would deal with a Dragoon, which had just come out at the time, so that's pretty important there. Let's quickly go on to the siding strategy, because it should still be applicable for deck lists afterwards. So no changes for Salamangrate, because the engine just functions really well on its own. For Invoked, no changes when going first, you're just going to go through your full combo, but for when you're going second, you do have to break the Dragoon board, so Super Poly and Droplets come in. You take out the triple tactics, 1 Arc, 1 Demock, and 1 Gravedigger's Trap Hole, so you're assuming you're never going to get into your Aphlesia. And then removing the Demock and the Arc, it's kind of like a gambit that you're going to get to a good combo, and Demock is always like your backup combo really. Like if your opponent's going to drop Dark Ruler on you, then at least you can out all of their monster effects. But you really don't need that when you're going second, to be honest. And then for the combo decks, so putting in Call Buys going first and taking out the 2 Gamma and 1 Driver, you actually need the 3rd Gamma for the combo, or the old combo that the deck had. You would have to summon the Gamma off the Fibrax. So taking out 2 Gamma, 1 Driver makes it a bit risky that you might draw the Gamma, but it does mean you have Call Buys to deal with the other hand traps, which I understand at a lot of smaller scale events that we're seeing, especially physical events, people are still playing Ash Blossom, Veiler. There's still very, there's a healthy amount, should we say, of those especially in the UK format. Then for going second, again, you're bringing in 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Droplets, just ways to out the big combo boards and the Dragoon. Again, Tactics comes out. I don't know what you guys think about this, because Tactics does have some application going into a board, but maybe it's not as relevant as the other cards there. And once again, Orc, Demock, and Gravedigger's Trap Hole come out. And then no changes for the sort of stun trap decks. The rounds that he played. So he played 6 rounds. The first 5 rounds were Swiss. The last round, he took the unfortunate loss to Adamancipated there. So we've got a little bit of information from each of these. So round 1 against Dino, he lost game 1 to a Mystic Mine and then won the other 2. Round 2 against Plunder, he got a draw because they went into time. You know the, what's the trap? Is it Party? The one that keeps bringing them back can be really problematic for a lot of decks. Then Cyber Dragon in round 3, 2-0, barely remembers these games because, you know, it was Cyber Dragon, it's pretty swift. Round 4 against Invoked Dragon, 2-1 here. He says it should have been a 2-0, but unfortunately he misplayed. Round 5 against Dino, so this is the first loss here. He said that Rituals are really bad. He bricked hard game 2 and 3 after winning the game 1 fairly competently, so I guess you can't really argue against that. You know, if you are playing a Ritual deck, you do have to see both Ritual monsters and ways to actually summon the Ritual monsters, which isn't always the easiest thing. There are a few ways to get around that, but yeah, it's a little bit tricky. And then moving into the top 8 matches, so he played against Adamancipator here and went 1-2, misplaying again by trying to search with Block Dragon underneath a Dweller. So it's important to note Tom has been out of the game for a little while, so he will be a little bit rusty on a few of those rulings every now and again, but he's fully getting back into the swing of things and takes home a top 8 spot from his first proper winner box event with the Megalith strategy established. And he's definitely one to keep an eye on. He's been really active in the Megalith group, trying to push some of the combos and what the deck can actually do, even with the Block Dragon band. We're going to get onto that list very shortly. I'm just going to quickly take you through some more information about how this list operated. So typical M board, you'd have like a Hauke Fibrax, Savage, Gamma, and Block Dragon on board with Aerotron and full in hand. Then during your opponent's turn, you turn the Hauke Fibrax into the Formula Synchron and summon the Calamity and your opponent can't play. That's the essential win condition with the deck. You either do that or you OTK with Access Code Talker and a Block Dragon, and your Savage Dragon as well if you really need to. The hardest matchup, he said, from the day was actually the Plunder one. Their ability to play during your second turn makes it very difficult to get to the win, and it required limiting what attributes he played, so a little bit tricky there. What matchups are free for the deck? Well, other combo decks, if you win the dice roll, they kind of struggle having enough interruption to stop the main combo, and he thinks that Megalith is one of the best decks from the time at playing through Dark Rule No More. It does change up a little bit, but now you kind of hand loop your opponent anyway, so even if they are playing like a slightly more consistent deck, you may have an opportunity to just full hand loop them and win regardless. Would he make any changes? He says he's back and forth on the triple tactics talent in the main deck over the Call by the Grave. Obviously it's not really an option anymore, but that's just how it was at the time. The theory is that Gamma is seeing a lot of play right now, and given the deck's ability to play through a single hand trap, you generally use the triple tactics talent to clear any other hand trap that might be waiting for you from your opponent's hand, but he didn't draw it all day, so he doesn't really know if it's any good. The Super Poly and Starving Venom, he says, were really good Dragoon outs. Again, he didn't see the Super Poly on the day, but maybe it could have been swapped for a Lava Golem or a Sphere Mode if he wanted to. He tends to play Lava Golem over Sphere Mode. I think this is a really good idea, because better players avoid putting 3 monsters on the board anyway. You don't have to use your normal summon, so you just slap down the Lava Golem and they have like basically nothing left. He wasn't really sure on his ratio of the level 8 Megalith going into the event, but he does think that Aratron was really good all day, but he might get a second Bethor in the deck or a Phalag. And we'll see how that impacted the new one. Would he play it again in the future? He said, yep, playing a Megalith deck is really fun. Looping the Haggith and Unformed is so satisfying. Throughout the day people were asking about the combo, interested in what the deck could do. It was also very satisfying to be able to give a good showing with a deck that requires a bit more consideration than some of the other powerful combo decks, which is fair enough. You know, with this one you do have to be very careful about which interaction you play at which point. You can't just sort of resolve every effect and hope that it all works through. You might like unformed away the wrong thing. Shoutouts go to Nathan for lending him £300 worth of cards that he then didn't draw all day, being the Droplets and the Triple Tactics talent, which seem very good in theory. And before we go, let's take a look at the updated list. So this is the list that Tom sent over. I've made one change to the extra deck. It featured an Untus, but I'm pretty sure you can't summon it with this deck. I could be wrong, but maybe that's a flex slot available there for something down the line. So here we can see we've got the Despot 001 and the Colt Wing added into the main deck, and then the Gustkraken engine. So now your Fibrex allows you to go via the Auroradon into a bunch of Heralds. Your Heralds can go into a Granite to bring back additional resources, sorry, not a Granite, Dugares, to get additional resources either by drawing or by summoning stuff back. You'll get loads of searches off your Heralds. You can potentially start hand looping with the Omega to do the last one if you need to, but otherwise you'll just keep shuffling everything back, and you'll use your triple Gustkraken to just rip apart your opponent's hand and put yourself in a super strong position where they have basically nothing, and you can just sit on like an Apollo basically if you want. And you generally win from there. Even if you don't have the Apollo to sit on, you could just end on like a full with Bethor access, and if your opponent is down to like 1 or 2 cards, then you just Bethor away everything they have and you probably win. So this is the way that the deck is shaping up at the moment. I will ask Tom to come back on if he's got another top with the updated list without the Block Dragon, but it is early days, so we'll see just how this deck evolves and see if he can take home another top. But congratulations for the first one. What do you guys think about the list, the way that it's shaping up, and can Megalith perform in the future? Is this the way to go with the Gustkraken hand loop, or is there a better way to play Megalith? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.